Hello, Chiefs fans, and welcome to RGR Football. In this week 14 episode of Kingdom Corner, I'm your host, Danilo DiGiulio, aka ThunderDan88 across social media. You can check me out here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, etc. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please click the thumbs up and subscribe buttons and hit that notification bell to make sure you know when we post future videos. Check us out. Ryan and Dan Harms over there do some great stuff as well. This week has a Chiefs team returning to the Hard Rock Stadium, site of the Super Bowl 54 victory over the San Francisco 49ers, to face an 8-4 Miami Dolphins team that's building steadily for their future. Got a great coach down there in Brian Flores. They brought in a lot of really key young players, but they're young. In 12 starts this season, Patrick Mahomes has been sacked just 13 times and has just 2 games with a passer rating below 95. Tua Tagovailoa, in 5 starts, or games where he's had a lot of play, has been sacked 10 times and also has 2 games with a passer rating under 95. The biggest knock on the Chiefs this week is their inefficiency inside the red zone. That inefficiency needs to be taken with a grain of salt. It's an apparent weakness that the Chiefs have, even though they're one of the most explosive, if not the most explosive offense in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is the most potent deep ball thrower in the league. He's top 5 in pass attempts, has the second most completions, and yet leads the NFL with fewest interceptions at just 2. His 31 touchdowns, meanwhile, are top 3 behind Aaron Rodgers, who's also in the MVP conversation, whom he trails by 5. And he's just 1 behind Russell Wilson, who's also an MVP candidate. But those other 2 MVP candidates have a respective 4 and 11 interceptions. Despite being one of the most frequent throwers of the deep ball, Mahomes has a 68.3% completion rating. That's nearly 70, and he has over 70, over 75 in a number of games. So is the answer for the Dolphins to just let the Chiefs get in the red zone, shorten the field, and stop them? Well, despite that supposed shortcoming, the Chiefs are the second in scoring in the league with 370 points. That's 30.8 points per contest. Just 9 behind the 379 points scored by the Green Bay Packers. So you might not want to let them get in scoring range. Just a thought. The Chiefs D, meanwhile, has allowed fewer points than all but 5 teams, giving up just 255 points or 19.5 points per game. One of those teams that's ahead of them is the Miami Dolphins, who've only given up 212 points or 16.3 per game on the season. That being said, they played the Jets twice. They played the Bengals last week. They played a much weaker schedule. For a more visual perspective as to why the red zone troubles of the past 2 weeks aren't as big of a red flag as pundits would have you believe, consider this. The red zone is from the goal line to the 20-yard line. Patrick Mahomes leads all NFL QBs in completions over 20 yards with 52. Not surprising with 2 of the top 3 receivers in the NFL. Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill are 2nd and 3rd currently in receiving yards. At one point they were 1 and 2. While Hill leads the league in touchdown receptions, despite having at least 4 or 5 that were called back due to penalties or that missed one last week against the Broncos. We won't get into that. Travis Kelce is 2nd in the league in catches over 20 yards, ahead of Tyreek, while Hill is 2nd in the league in catches over 40 yards with 4 to Travis's 2. The Chiefs QB has 3,815 yards, while the combination of Tua Tagovailoa and Ryan Fitzpatrick have managed just 2,807 yards combined, with their leading receiver Devontae Parker accounting for 677 yards and 4 TDs. One other Dolphin, tight end Mike Gesicki, has 4 touchdowns and over 500 yards, and then it drops to the 200s. Current starter Tagovailoa has just 7 passes over 20 yards and 0 passes over 40. And I feel like Tua is going to throw his first and maybe 2nd interception this Sunday, since the Chiefs' passing D is in the top 5 to 7 any given week, and they feast on young QBs. They're going to probably have a field day. We'll see. You never know. That's why they play the games, right? The next big concern out there is that the Chiefs can't run the ball. They can't stop the run. But the fact is that the Chiefs have outrushed their opponents 4 times this season, and they really don't need to. The Chiefs have only given up 150 or more yards rushing in a game to 5 opponents this season. Just 5. The most yards they've given up rushing in a game was 185 yards to the Cam Newton-led, run-heavy New England Patriots whom the Chiefs beat soundly by a score of 26-10. Kansas City has rushed for 1,358 yards as a team this year, an average of 113.2 per game. The team's averaging 4.5 yards per carry, while team leader Clyde Edwards-Helaire has 692 yards on 151 carries for a 4.6 yard average. The Dolphins are averaging just 96.5 yards per game with 1,158 for the season, an average of 3.7 yards per carry. Their running backs, their top guys, Myles Gaskin and Matt Breida, are averaging 3.9 and 3.6 yards respectively. I expect the Chiefs to outrush the Miami Dolphins this weekend. The Chiefs are 11-1 on the season, in part because they've maintained a semblance of balance on offense that is not typical of an Andy Reid coached team. Kansas City has run the ball 20 times in all but one contest this season, versus the Carolina Panthers, who pressured the Chiefs all day with a rare pairing of a healthy Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey, who was playing lights out, looking like the best back in the league. Sorry, King Henry, you got competition. KC fell behind early and only ran the ball 11 times, but still managed to claw their way back after a halftime deficit and win the football game. In their only loss in the season, Kansas City did technically run the ball 20 times. And that number usually means that Kansas City wins the football game. In the last 4 years, undoubtedly they win. The reason for this outlier is the fact that just 11 of those rushes were by running backs. The other 9 were by receivers and quarterback Patrick Mahomes on not designed runs. 4 days after that loss, they signed Le'Veon Bell, and the next week, still waiting for Bell to clear protocols, but with a commitment back to the run, the Chiefs had their best rushing game of the year, second best of Andy Reid's tenure, against the Buffalo Bills, when they ran for 245 yards, Clyde Edwards-Helaire having his best performance with 161 yards on 26 carries. If anyone told me these stats without the actual record, I would have guessed that the Chiefs would be sitting at 10-2, having lost to the Panthers and the Raiders. But no, they're one better than that. I would have happily been wrong. I would have admitted my mistake. They're 11-1 with just one loss against division rival who sees them twice a year. The Oakland Raiders, who have been very good some weeks. They're the first team in the league to catch a playoff berth, to secure their playoff berth, and they're very close to winning their 5th straight AFC West title, which is just ever increasing the record for the Kansas City Chiefs in their history. So I'm sitting here grinning like Alfred E. Newman thinking, what, me worry? Meanwhile, Chiefs Kingdom is out there and half of you are all worried. And I'm just saying, just breathe and enjoy the ride. Winning's hard in the NFL, especially when we get every team's best effort, because we're the defending champs. Don't forget that. We're the defending Super Bowl champs. That feels good. Okay? And we're in good hands from top to bottom. There's no better combination of coach, QB, and GM in the league. In fact, they may be the best ever. We're witnessing history. And I think it's going to continue with a win this week at Miami. 28-17. Go Chiefs. Thanks for stopping by Kingdom Corner. Enjoy the games and have a happy Sunday.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.